everybody. Welcome to Do the Damn Thing. My name is Laura Foy, and today we are talking to Jenny Schwarzberg, and we are going to learn all about her business, how she launched online, how she got up and running. And before I even bring her on, I want to say that even just speaking to her reminds me of being home. Jenny, your accent, I'm sure you get it all the time. I too am an East Coaster. I'm from New York, and so talking to you just makes me feel like home. Welcome so much to the show.
Thank you so much. I didn't even realize that you were from the East Coast, so this is great.
Yeah, absolutely. Strong Island all the way. So
Jersey.
close enough. Close enough. So
Close.
let's tell people what you do because I found it really interesting. You've created a business for yourself that is has a life online, and you obviously meet people in line. Tell people what you do.
Sure. So it's funny. I'm actually full-time a special education case manager. So I work all day long for a public school. So we're back into the whole swing of things when it comes to the hybrid learning, the pandemic, like all of that. But after school, even before the pandemic hit us, I created my own business, essentially just tutoring. And I was tutoring students mainly in the areas of having a reading deficit, spelling deficit, as well as a ton of students with organizational issues, ADHD, potentially anxiety. And I realized I wanted to bring attention to my day as a case manager and my afternoons and evenings as a tutor more online. And I wasn't really utilizing digital media, social media. I wasn't bringing any attention to myself because I think, at the point, like, what's the point if no one cares?
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, you know what? I want to show people because I might be able to help others, other teachers, other parents, working with kids in this population with their needs.
Awesome. And for anyone just joining us, we are talking with Jenny Schwarzberg, and we will be taking live questions and comments in just a little bit. So you touched on something interesting because I wouldn't think of a tutoring business, and not to minimize all that you do, but to characterize it somehow, I wouldn't think of it as needing an online presence or a social media presence, I should say. So what inspired you to create such a pretty strong and relevant social media presence?
Well, first of all, the fact that you even acknowledge that it's a strong presence is very flattering to me, because about a year and a half ago when I made this decision, maybe even 2 years now, made this decision to post, just like literally just post once a while.
Right.
And I just saw that the more I posted, the more compliments I would receive, maybe not so much attention. And I was told by a lot of friends who were in businesses outside of mine, do not focus on the numbers, do not focus on the likes, just keep offering value.
Right.
Don't worry about the numbers. And that's what I did. I literally just was like, okay, I think this will be very helpful to people. Let me put it out there. And little by little, as time went on, the consistency in my end went on, the growth became. And now people are seeing, like, hey, Jenny, what do you think about this? Hey, Jenny, what do you think about that? Asking me to do presentations, interviews. I mean, we're not talking like crazy off the charts, busy doing things. Not right, not yet. But I have to say, even people, and this is really who I want to market to, people who are parents that have been kind of watching me, whether they know me from my college days or they know me just from other people in the community, and they have a child who's 4, 5, 6 years old. They're seeing me, and a light bulb goes off, and they're like, I think my kid might be having a hard time reading. Let me contact Jenny and ask her what she thinks my next move should be. And that's where I really want to be for people.
That's awesome. And now you are based in New Jersey, but do you find that you get a lot of people nationwide because of your online or because of your social media presence reaching out to you for advice?
I do. It's pretty cool. I have made what I would say Insta friends with people from California, from Florida, from people across the country, very much so. And I even have a couple of Insta friends from Europe. So it is very nice. I think one in Dominican Republic. It's kind of cool. Like, you never know who is wanting to pose a question. They find that they can approach me. I want people to know that they can approach me, and they're just sending their DMs. And, I feel like in turn, because we're all we, meaning the tutors, the teachers out there in the world, we're all kind of in the same boat together. We should help each other. I'm like, what do you need? You like this? I'll like post something with my phone, for example, in a session, and they're like, oh, can I get a copy? Sure. What's your email? Right? Like, I'm not even here to say, it's $1, it's $5. Like, what
Right.
do you need? Here you go. Because honestly, even when you throw an attachment, an email to somebody, they still might not know what to do with it once they receive it.
Right.
So again, it's just being able, knowing like I put in work, enjoy the work, but there's still more work for every teacher to put in. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
kind of,
awesome. I mean, one of the
yeah,
big things we really have sunk our teeth into and believe in as a marketing agency is that the most important thing is to provide value. And it's
yeah.
funny that you've kind of found that answer on your own. And now, in a marketing sense, sometimes providing value is something called a lead magnet or something where you give an exchange for something else. But it sounds like you're really just out there genuinely from your authentic self providing value, and people are loving you for that. I mean, that's a huge kudos to the kind of content you're creating.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I have to say a lot of this really was motivated by I was in a membership for a really amazing I don't even want to call it a mastermind, but it was like a business entrepreneur lifestyle type of community for 1 year. And they really promoted, I mean, so many key points, but this was one of the key points is that you really want as an entrepreneur to create the value and never say, and now what are you going to bring to me back, right?
Right.
Like you just want to throw out the goodness and let it be, and the goodness will come back in due time.
Absolutely. In fact, Alexandra, I don't want to butcher her name, but I think it's Pujols, says you're doing a wonderful job of helping not only students but parents as well. Is that someone you've worked with?
Yes, I love her. Thank you, Alex.
Now, how long did this take you in terms of getting your business set up and starting to get clients, and has it been really a long process? Did you just decide one day I'm going to go in, gung ho and give it my all? What was your timeline building up to where you are now?
Great question. So I have always been into having a lot of balls in the air. So I just started my 12th year in public school education. Every single year that I've been working full time as a teacher, I found myself somehow doing something after school. When I was in the beginning stages, I didn't have any tutoring clients. I was a nobody, right? Like nobody knew of me. I also commuted very far to work. I wasn't living in that community at that time. So I was always kind of like, oh, I really just wish I could tutor. And then by the time I like developed a name in the community, I was back in school at nighttime. The best decision I ever made was going ahead and getting my what we call dyslexia certificate.
Hmm.
Because the dyslexia certificate, which took me 2 years, is now allowing me to finally have that confidence to go one-on-one to the child and remediate their reading weaknesses. Before this, I was a bit unsteady on my feet. How do I help this child learn how to read? Because there's a lot of different perspectives and philosophies, but this was a clear-cut perspective and philosophy. And then I said, now at that point, I think I was in year 7 or year 8. People were like, hey, can you help my cousin? Hey, can you help? Sure, no problem. So little by little, my afternoons, once I was finished with all my night school, little by little, my afternoons started filling up with clients to tutor. And it kept growing and growing and growing. And I said, I think it was Easter Sunday, 2019. I had a very interesting, not so positive experience just happened to me. And I was already tutoring a ton of kids. I was like, you know what? We're going to go public. LLC, here we go. Went into the website, state of New Jersey, and I created the LLC on Easter Sunday. And I said, I want to do this authentically. I want to do it openly. I want people to see that I am not just, under the table tutoring and drawing attention. No, I am here, and I want people to know that I'm not just a tutor, but I'm trying to help people find their way because kids are not going anywhere.
Right.
Anxiety, ADHD, learning disabilities are not going anywhere.
Wow. I mean, you must feel good at the end of the day. So are you still managing both? You said you're doing both jobs, so you're working at the school and your tutoring business.
Yes.
Is the dream one day to just focus on your entrepreneurial, tutoring business?
My dream is to actually remain in both because I love what I do during the day as a case manager. I mean, that is still something at my core I've worked very hard for, and
Yeah.
I definitely want to remain there. And I like being part of the school team. I mean, the issues we see on the outside in the afternoons are still going on during the day. So I love that team capacity, and then I love the component at nighttime, afternoons and nights where I'm like just it's just me and the student. And then of course you have to set the time aside, and usually that does happen on weekends and mornings, like 5:36 in the morning, if I can't squeeze in a workout, because work does trump the working out. And so updating the expenses report and updating lesson plans. I mean, I have so many kids that I have to find time to
Right.
efficiently and appropriately lesson plan for them because that's what I'm being paid to do.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things that I've gotten a lot of as I talk to more and more entrepreneurs, whatever stage they are in their journey, is that they didn't know necessarily how much work it was going to be. They kind of was like they had this fun idea and like, oh, I want to do X and I'm going to do that. And as you get deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole, the more and more, the dirt and the nitty gritty and all the things that maybe aren't so fun or you didn't know about start to reveal themselves. So would you say the same is true for you, that it was like you got yourself in maybe a little deeper than you thought you were going to go over your
For
head?
sure. I mean, I definitely have these high aspirations and these like really cool visions. It's like I definitely want to be that YouTuber that has a channel with 500 videos and 500,000 minimum followers, and everyone could be like, okay, click on Genny for like this tool and click on Genny for that tool. But that would require, and that's when you learn when you're by yourself, you need help. And I had somebody to help me for a young college girl, and I'm really all about like finding young kids, giving them a chance to work and develop their talents. And she helped create the website, my headshot, my logo. She's like my go-to. And I also really do rely on the younger group because they know technology better than I do. I mean, I'm not terrible, but I'm not into TikTok and Reels right now. And that's a place where maybe I'd like to be, but I'm thinking I'd have to grow and I would need somebody in terms of grow a team around me. And I'm not saying 5 people, maybe just 1 or 2. I mean, my girl's in college right now. So, that creates some limitations. And I want to try to also do things by myself. I'd love to pop out more social media content. I was actually thinking this morning, how can I become more online, other than just the post and the stories? Like, how can I create more video? So I'm going to need a videographer.
Everyone take notes. She is now accepting applications
Yeah.
for videographer. Well, you've got a really beautiful social media page. You've got a ton of followers, and you've got what is it, over 530 posts here. We're going to take a look at it. So tell me, what is your sort of your strategy when you create these social media posts? Because they seem to all have a theme and a good look, and you're getting, I don't know how long you've been at it, but you've got a good response here with, like I said, 1,500 followers. What is your marketing or social media strategy?
So my strategy is honestly be consistent. And what I do, because I'm a lover of Google Calendar, I put in a goal. So every day there's a little purple banner on my calendar that says 7 p.m. SM, which stands for social media, post and engage. So every night I'm trying to really push myself, and we're talking after all day working when I really just want to kind of turn the towel in for the night, but I really try to push myself to get on there. And I also make sure to, around the 30th or the 31st, the first of every month, take a look at my whole month ahead. And I've been following, I don't know if you know Jasmine Starr, she has a social curator membership, but she kind of helps break down a few categories. Like each day of the week, there's a theme. So my Monday is like about me. A Tuesday is my why. A Thursday is,
Nice.
potentially throwback Thursday, or like behind the scenes. So every day of the week, there's a theme. And then what I do is I try to create photos, a lot of vanity going on here, like a lot of selfies. Here we are.
People
Blah, blah,
love
blah.
photos. They love faces.
And I just try to do that throughout the week and then pick a photo and then create a caption based on that.
Nice. And do you focus more on one platform than another? I know I came across you on Instagram and I have been to your Facebook page. You said you want to develop a YouTube presence. It's not there yet, but is there one that really has your heart?
I would say that the Instagram is always where I begin, and then I love how I linked it to my Facebook business page.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I have to remember more is to also send it to my LinkedIn, because LinkedIn it's not as given it's as much attention as Insta and Facebook. And my YouTube is, it's videos that are slowly getting grown. But yeah, Instagram and Facebook I would say are my most widely used on a day-to-day basis. But I have to admit too, I try to go into social media, do what I have to do, and then engage a bit, and then I try to bounce, because there's just a lot
Get sucked
a
in.
lot in the feed I just don't need to see or hear.
Right, right. And you're actually out there spreading good in the world, which some of Instagram, more I find more negativity on Facebook personally, at least in my feed, than Instagram. But yeah, absolutely, you can get sucked into there. For sure. So let's talk about coronavirus real quick. So obviously the world has changed. It's a different place now. How has that impacted your business? And are you taking clients virtually?
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked that. So what happened was, in New Jersey, we had everything kind of closing around March 13th or so. That I remember, it was Friday the 13th. It was my last day of work in person. And so that weekend, and I was told, do not come back to work next week. And we didn't know for how long. So what I made sure to do that weekend, no St. Patrick's Day parties. No. I taught myself how to convert all my lessons virtually on Google Slides. I met with a few tutors that I had actually met through Instagram, and I said, hey, are you using Zoom for any of your students? Could you show me a few tricks? 3 or 4 times that weekend, met on Zoom, and I just taught myself how to teach. And then from March until July, I taught 100% on Zoom after work. And a lot of families are really happy with that. I even had some new clients come to me virtually only. And then once the world started slowly opening up, and parents, especially the little ones, who said, I really don't think Zoom is working for my child. Can you come back? And so then we made accommodations for outdoor tutoring.
Right. Yeah. No, I've got a 6-year-old. And when we were looking at e-learning as a full-time working mother, I was like, I don't have time to do this, because e-learning at that age is really parent-led. So it's a tip. So I can understand why it works better for the older kids. Do you have an age range that you specialize in?
I honestly feel like my kids span from K to right now. My oldest is 9th grade, but I was a high school teacher as well back in my day. So whatever the child needs, I can provide outside of, your SAT prep. Like, I am not here to prepare for that. Me on my own, I needed my own SAT tutor, and had that for several years. So I am not in that position. I am really here looking for working with kids who are unsteady and unsure, and also very low confidence when it comes to their academics, which unfortunately lends itself to always lead into their emotions. Their emotions are impacted by their ability to succeed academically. So I am also then bringing in that growth mindset. I am not a psychologist, but I wear that hat so much, and we have to be these kids' cheerleaders too, on top of the tutor. It's not just, okay, let's read, okay, let's write, but like, you can do this. You are doing hard things, and I'm so proud. And then we have games, we have incentives, and it's a fun experience for everybody. That's what it should be, because we're asking kids, after being on screen for several hours or being in school for several hours, to now come to me for an extra hour of their day.
Right.
And then, of course, I ask them to do their work, when I'm not there, which whatever happens when I'm not there. But like, if you go to the gym once a week for an hour, we know you're not making gains. So you have to have the parent, again, lead the way and show the example when I'm not there, to say, okay, let's read together. What word list did Genny leave for us? Let's go ahead and practice. Even for 5 minutes. I mean, 5 minutes is great. Once a day, it's great.
Great. Well, don't tell my kid, because I make him read for 20. So.
Oh, I love it.
So now that you're at this stage in your career, and you've learned some things and you figured out some things, and obviously we're always still growing, but there are so many people out there who have a dream or a passion or something that they've always thought about doing, but they haven't quite gotten over that hump yet where they're like, I'm going to do it. So what would you say to them? Are there tools that made it easier for you? Do you just have a mindset of like, do it no matter what? Like, what kind of, advice would you have to people out there starting in any industry, really?
Yeah. I would say, I mean, if it's something that does not leave your mind that you think a lot about, then we should consider, doing it, right? Like don't let it up because you're going to be unhappy. What I think will lead to the next step is figuring out whether you write it down in your notes on your phone or you take out a traditional piece of paper and a pencil, write out the end goal, which is I want to have blank, right? And then talk to somebody, because if you're just kind of stuck in your head, talk to somebody that you value, that you trust, that is successful, not somebody who is unsuccessful or somebody who is, maybe just not the right fit to have a conversation about this, and really say, what do you think? I mean, I had so many conversations with other people within, more so outside of teaching than inside of teaching. I wanted to hear from people who are doing the damn thing and say, what do you think I should do?
Right.
And took in like a sponge their suggestions, but again, people that I respected and I valued. And we're not talking polling the world here. We're talking just a small handful of people that I built a relationship with, that I trusted. And you know who honestly might really helped me? My parents. My parents were my, my sounding board. Every week I would go over for dinner and like, what do you think of this? And what do you think of that? What should I price this for at? What should I do that? And it's helpful. And I feel like in order to succeed when you're doing this and you're going through the process, because it's ever evolving, having like your 1-2, like, hey, blah, 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 what do you think about this? Or mom, what do you think about that? Like, just
you need that sounding board.
Yeah, the sounding board, because ideas will come to you. If you are truly like in it to win it, more ideas will come to you. You're going to get like into a comfort level. You're going to do it and you're going to be happy about that. And then you're going to say, okay, now what? Right? I want to add gifts to this. I want to add this service. I want to do that. So just talk to people that you believe in, that also believe in you, want to see you succeed.
That's great. That's great advice. I love that. So did you talk to other tutors or other people in the world of education, or did you talk to just other entrepreneurs who had kind of their information could translate into your field?
It was a combination. So I have a very good friend. She and I did the Orton Gillingham tutoring together, the program together. She actually also really was hustling out there and tutoring herself. So I would she would be my sounding board for that. But when it came to now going public, going LLC, trying to do service, like more official stuff, that most of them teachers and tutors, we're not really having those conversations. It's just not in our lingo. We're not made for business. We're made for education. So then I went to my other friends, actually my friend who owns a hair salon. I was like, what are you going to do for that? So it was completely separate, but I could use a lot of her advice for myself, which was very helpful.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I mean, and that's really what you have to do. You have to get a little bit from this person, a little bit from that person, take what applies to you, throw out the rest, and kind of build your own thing, right? So did you have people helping you or teaching you the social media side of things, or were you, and I don't know, do you run ads? Do you run Facebook ads? How did you learn that? Or is it kind of just learning as you go?
Definitely learning as I go. I don't use ads. I don't even know the first thing about it. I mean, I know about them, but I haven't implemented it into my business. As far as the social media, I think I was more of like the student for a while and trying to really like look at other people and what they were doing on their posts. And I was like, okay, let me try that now. And it was just like putting myself out there, and there's really no bad consequence. I mean, at least for me and what I've experienced, I've never gotten hate. I've never gotten bad comments. People were supportive and they were positive. So I'm like, okay, this is good reinforcement for me to just continue.
I don't know what kind of demon you have inside you that's going to give you any hate. I mean, all you're doing is helping kids learn. What hate could be thrown your way?
Sometimes, right. Well, right. Right.
I would hope that people have been supportive.
Haters out there, but thank God no one's come my way for this in this instance. So
okay, well, good, and I hope it stays that way, because I can't imagine someone going onto your page and being like, "You're just terrible," as you help those kids who need help.
Well, right, and I think too, like I also sometimes battle inside, like, how much of my personal life do I want to bring into my Instagram page, because my Instagram page is so heavy on, the tutoring and the teaching and helping the kids, but like I am also a person who enjoys my cats and chocolate
Right.
and restaurants. So, and there's a lot of social stuff culturally right now that I choose not to dive into, but there's a part of me sometimes that wants to weigh in. And there's a lot that I can mention, and I feel like sometimes I'm obligated to say something, but I really just try to keep it PC and really just about the kids and about me. It's really just about me, about the kids, and leave, like, because I remember posting one particular thing back when it was very heated a few months ago, and I think it was just some people, and like you get that anywhere, I'm sure. The comments were just not they just didn't make sense, and they were also very aggressive, and I was like, okay, this isn't it's not worth
Right.
it.
No, I understand. I understand. We've got about just a few minutes left. For those of you watching, we are speaking with Genny Schwarzberg from Genny of All Trades. And we are live. So if you have anything to ask about her career or how she got to this stage in her career, please go ahead and ask those questions. I wanted to talk to you about something you just mentioned about your personal, and you make it about you. And that is actually one of the things that I firmly believe in as a marketing strategy. Like, you are your brand, and the more personal you can make it and the more authentic, but people want to know you. They don't want to associate or even buy from a nameless, faceless conglomerate company. They want to get to know the person behind it, and that you have fears and flaws and cats and all those things. So whether or not you did it intentionally or you just didn't know what to post, you post a picture of yourself, I think in terms of what I believe is a marketing strategy, you are right on point. You where you should be and doing what you should be. What has been your reaction from your audience, when you let them in a little bit, when you show that side of you that, maybe you're being a little bit more vulnerable?
Definitely. I 100% agree with you. If you demonstrate and showcase more of who you are behind the scenes and what you're into and what you like and what you don't like. I mean, I would just focus on what the likes. Yeah, I mean, people seem to build that relatability. They build that connection more. And that's the key, right? Like, you
Yeah.
just want to build a positive rapport with your audience. And even if it's something so basic and simple as like, oh, it's, National Ice Cream Day. What's your favorite flavor? That has nothing to do with tutoring. But you could spin anything to your practice, or you could just literally keep it. I love chocolate with whatever sprinkles or whatever mix-ins, or you can say, I remember back in the day we would throw, end of the year ice cream parties, and I loved seeing the kids, and just like they were quiet and they were just enjoying it. Like, you could spin anything to anything, honestly, related to you.
Right.
Or you could just not spin it and just talk about you. And if somebody wants to, again, spread the hate or comment or judge that it's, stupid or whatever, that's on them. And you just do you, because I think it's exactly what you're saying. People want to know who you are. You're a person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we are just about out of time. But before we go, I wanted to give you an opportunity to tell people where they can find more about you. If anyone has a child in need of these services, and if they're on the East Coast, or they'll maybe nationwide, since you do have Zoom,
Yeah.
how can
Yeah.
people get in touch with you?
Thank you. So my website is jennyofalltrades.org. Remember, my name starts with a G, not a J. This was on purpose for my parents. So yeah, jennyofalltrades.org is my website. You can find me there. You can find me on Instagram, again, at the same name, Facebook at the same name. And my LinkedIn and my YouTube is my first and last name, Genny Schwarzberg.
Awesome. And we'll have all those links in the description down below. So thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate your time. And if anyone out there is not sure what to do or get started, just do the damn thing.
Just do the damn thing.